Transforming your life with hypnotherapy just got easier with your host, Julie from CoachingHypnosis.net.
Welcome back, dear listener, to Coaching Hypnosis. We are on day 6 of our 30-day countdown, the world's darkest hypnosis cases. Yesterday, we explored Synonym, a group that turned drug rehab into a bald gun-toting militia that used venomous reptiles as a customer service strategy. Today, we are fast-forwarding to the tech boom era of San Francisco and New York in the late 2000s and 2010 to look at a cult that didn't hide in an isolated rural compound. It hid right on the main stage of the global wellness industry. Today, we decode the case of Nicole Didone and OneTaste. OneTaste was marketed as a revolutionary wellness and sexuality company. They promised the ultimate modern holy grail, deep human connection, trauma healing, and a fast-track shortcut to the highly coveted flow state. They were featured in major fashion magazines, praised by elite tech executives, and gave wildly popular TED Talks to standing ovations. But behind the sleek branding and high-end city apartments and the organic catering lay a highly predatory multi-million-dollar psychological trap. In 2023, the FBI arrested its top leaders, charging them with forced labor conspiracy, former members exposing a grueling corporate ladder where people were coerced into thousands of dollars of debt, forced into non-consensual sexual encounters, and subjected to round-the-clock psychological policing. As a clinical hypnotist, this case is highly fascinating and deeply infuriating. Nicole Didone didn't invent a new spiritual philosophy. Instead, she took an incredibly powerful, natural psychological state and combined it with intense sensory flooding and used it as a hypnotic entry point to completely bypass her followers' financial and personal boundaries. Let's look at the actual clinical architecture of how she did it. The entire engine of OneTaste was built around a highly specific 15-minute tactile ritual called Orgasmic meditation or OMing. To the public, it was sold as clinical, detached, completely scientific biohack for your nervous system. But if you look at the mechanics of how these sessions were structured, they were actually a highly intensive textbook application for overload induction. The setup was entirely calculated. A practitioner would lie down in a specific dimly lit environment. Every single detail was micromanaged, from the exact stroke used, to the precise phrasing or feedback, to the digital timers buzzing in the background. From a neurological standpoint, when you combine highly focused, localized tactile stimulation with a rigid, high-pressure social environment, you aren't relaxing. You're completely flooding the nervous system. The brain releases a massive wave of oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins. When the brain is flooded with that level of chemical intensity, the critical faculty, the logical gatekeeper that separates your true desires from external suggestions, completely shuts down. You enter a state of profound somnambulistic hypersuggestibility. You feel incredibly vulnerable, deeply connected, and entirely open to whatever comes next. And right at that moment of total neurological openness, the dark wellness scam would strike. Step 1. Neurological flood. Tactile focus and rigid social rules completely shut down the critical faculty of the conscious mind. Step 2. High-ticket close. Sales reps immediately corner the member in their floating, highly suggestible post-trance state to pitch $60,000 packages. Step 3. The trap closes. Natural gut discomfort is labelled as ego resistance, while massive debt prevents them from escaping. Let's look at the absolute audacity of this business model. Once a member experienced that profound, chemically induced vulnerability, sales reps would immediately corner them while they were still in that floating, highly suggestible post-trance state. They would pressure them into buying massive coaching packages costing anywhere between $10,000 to $60,000. Let's be real. If a salesperson at a car dealership tried to sell you a used sedan by waiting until you were completely exhausted or emotionally overwhelmed to hand you a high-interest loan contract, you'd throw your iced coffee at them and walk right out. It is the ultimate boundary violation, but because OneTaste framed this predatory sales pressure as learning to sit with your resistance and leaning into intimacy, people handed over their credit cards, maxed out their life savings, and thanked them for the breakthrough. What makes the OneTaste case a critical study for us to analyse is how Didone managed to turn a natural bodily process into a psychological prison. She overrode her followers' boundaries using 3 distinct clinical mechanisms. 1. The biochemical anchor. By connecting a profound, natural neurological high exclusively to the OneTaste community and its specific rituals, Didone created a severe biochemical dependency. Followers subconsciously felt that if they left the group, they would lose their ability to experience deep joy or connection. 2. The weaponization of resistance. In ethical coaching, if a client says, "I don't want to do this, it feels wrong," we stop and honor that boundary immediately. OneTaste did the exact opposite. If a member expressed discomfort, felt financially exploited, or didn't want to engage with a specific partner, they were told that their discomfort was just their toxic trauma or ego trying to keep them small. This effectively trains your brain to ignore its own survival instincts. 3. The debt trap as a negative anchor. By coercing members into a massive financial debt to stay in the inner circle, the group created an overwhelming psychological weight. The subconscious mind realizes, I've given up my money, my apartment, and my relationship for this. If I admit this is a scam now, my entire life collapses. So, the mind doubles down on the illusion just to survive the cognitive dissonance. This is the ultimate danger of modern flow state obsession. Nicole Didone took a beautiful, natural human experience and used it to hollow out brilliant, successful people, turning their innate desire for genuine intimacy into a multi-million-dollar corporate asset. The enduring lesson of OneTaste is that your nervous system is entirely your own. True healing, authentic connection, and ethical breakthrough work will never require you to bypass your own boundaries, override your financial stability, or ignore your gut instincts just to achieve enlightenment or to hit a coaching milestone. An ethical guide will never use your vulnerability as a high-ticket closing room. Real leadership honors your no, strengthens your personal sovereignty, and keeps you safely anchored in your own truth. No expensive seminars or high-pressure tactics required. If you're exhausted from trying to live up to a high-ticket blueprint that requires you to override your health, your bank account, or your intuition just to stay relevant, it's time to step out of the trap. You don't have to be fueled by pain, pressure, or psychological manipulation to be highly successful. You will go much further when you're fueled by peace. If you're ready to put that invisible weight down and lead with a clear, unburdened, and completely sovereign mind, I invite you to book your free 40-minute clarity call with me today. Together, we will clear the external noise, re-anchor your nervous system, and install a powerful, unshakable subconscious identity